Shalom WJC family. It's time for our weekly Torah Talk. This week we are reading Parshat Ki Tetze. I wanted to explore Parshat Ki Tetze a little bit along with the month of Elul, which is almost halfway gone now, as we approach the high holidays, and this month of Elul is our time to prepare. And Ki Tetze actually has a lot of messages that maybe associate to Elul, but we have to dig a little deep because Ki Tetze reads almost like a legal code. And as legal codes go, it's a little all over the place. But when we look at each of these different mitzvot, of which there are some 72 in the Parsha, we can learn very important lessons that maybe apply, certainly I'll claim, apply to the season of Elul, this season of preparing for the high holidays. So when I first started learning Talmud, I was at the conservative yeshiva in Jerusalem, and I learned from tractate Bava Metzia. It's one of the first tractates that a section of Talmud that students learn often. It deals with very specific, very practical laws, like the one that we learn in chapter 22 of Deuteronomy, that we read, "You shall not see the ox of your brother or his sheep or goat cast off, and hide yourself from them. You shall surely return them to your brother." And that verb, hide yourself from them, v'hit alamta, it's a reflexive verb. It means to oh, there's the ox that's lost. Oh, it'd be a lot of work to return it. I'm going to hide myself from it and just pretend like I don't see it, and I'm going to be indifferent. And it continues, verse 2, and then verse 3 says, "So shall you do for the donkey, so shall you do for his garment, so shall you do for any lost article of your brother that may become lost from him, and you find it. Lo tuchal hitalem, you shall not hide yourself." So there's even this repetition of this, you shall not hide yourself. So it seems to be very important. So if the repetition emphasizes the importance of the passage, fine, we need to figure that out. But there's a greater question, which is, what about these laws of returning donkeys and oxes and lost objects makes this appropriate to be the first bit of Talmud that people learn? Why do we think Talmud starts here? So as far as the repetition is concerned, fine, we can just say that is the importance of this idea, right? That you cannot be indifferent. And by the way, we could stop there and be satisfied with that explanation. Why? Because we live in a society where the principle is generally don't get involved in other people's business, right? If something is happening to someone else and you are not somehow directly involved, you keep your nose out of it. To do otherwise would be butting in. To do otherwise would be getting involved in a place where you don't belong. Indifference to what's going on for others is part of the nature of our society. Not so much Jewish society, not so much Torah, not so much Jewish culture. We love to get involved in other people's business. And not only as a bad thing, right? People butting in, yeah, that happens. That happens in every culture. But in Jewish culture, we get involved in other people's problems. We make other people's problems our problems. You see, let's say, a dog wandering around with tags. It doesn't seem like it should be out. In American culture, maybe you get involved, or maybe you think, that dog might bite. That dog doesn't look so nice. Maybe you don't get involved. Jewish culture says you got to go get that dog, and you've got to, do your best. Check the tags, call the number on it. Do your best to get that dog home. And the truth is, even if the dog didn't have tags, if ultimately there were no distinguishing features, fine. But the Torah would expect you to put signs up, right? Missing golden retriever found, and see if anybody comes to claim that dog. So Judaism believes in getting involved in other people's problems, right? We believe that other people's problems are our problems. So just that repetition is pretty profound and pretty important. And to American culture, I'd say kind of countercultural in a really positive way. But that still doesn't explain to us why it is that the study of Talmud often starts with Bava Metzia, often starts with the laws of returning lost objects. And to help explain it, I want to share a teaching from Rabbeinu Yonah on this passage. So Rabbeinu Yonah, a rabbi of the Middle Ages, said that the mitzvah of lo tuchal hitalem, right, that you can't turn away and hide yourself from other people's problems, exhorts us not to ignore our friends' material needs. All right, if someone is in trouble materially, they need help, this says we need to get involved. He adds that every community, based on this, every community should have individuals who focus specifically upon the material and emotional needs of its members, right? Who stand ready, right? Who don't hide themselves to offer assistance and as soon as it is needed. We must search for opportunities to help others, right? We need not only to get involved when we see a lost object, we need to look for lost objects to return. We need to look for people in need, in material need, in emotional need, in spiritual need, and go out of our way to help them. So what makes this idea so special? Why does study of Talmud start here? Because it has a profound message specifically for this month of Elul. It reminds us that small things, small efforts, small ways of helping people, things that seem inconsequential, ultimately those are the things that add up to big things, to a society where people help each other, to a community where people go out of their way for each other, to help each other materially, to help each other emotionally, to help each other in every way that we can. Profound ideas come from small laws. In fact, maybe they're the things that matter most. It doesn't matter how big we talk. It doesn't matter what we say we believe in. It doesn't matter what we post on social media or what we tell people is important to us. It matters what we do. It matters the little things and the little actions that make up our everyday. That ultimately my actions and your actions and our family's actions and our friends' actions and the actions of everyone in our community, that's what adds up to form the fabric of the community that we live in, the social fabric. And so during this time of Elul, we ask ourselves, am I doing the little things? Am I doing my part to make this the kind of community I want to live in, I want to be a part of? Am I contributing in small ways so that my small ways and your small ways and everybody's small ways will come together to make this a beautiful, caring, concerned community, taking care of each other's material needs, taking care of each other's emotional needs? If we can focus on that, by the time we get to Rosh Hashanah, our job will be done, because we'll already have put ourselves back on the path that God intended for us, the path of helping others, the path of tikkun, of fixing the world, and in all those little things, returning lost objects and all the small things like it, come the profound way that we impact the society and the world in which we live. May we all have success in exploring those little things and getting involved in other people's problems and making this the kind of community, the kind of world we want not only us, but all of us to be living in and experiencing.